Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. To me, MVP is one of the best in the game when it comes to promoting fights, man. So, of course, I want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And I threw my shot. Eubank versus Benn 2. It wasn't the same fight. Eubank was just flat, man. Another great matchup, November 22nd, is Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. You know, I think we saw the effects of that and how much he was moving. Now, he says that's boxing. I don't call that boxing, man. I call that running. What's good, people? Mi Gallo is back. I know I've been missing for a minute. I've been locked in doing training camps. I got a win in August. Then I jumped back in October, got another win. We're looking to bounce back in January. So hopefully that falls through, man. It'd be amazing. And, you know, I'm excited to be back, man. I'm excited to, you know, shake that rust off, man. And man, there's no better feeling than like being in a training camp preparing for a fight. You know what I'm saying? I love doing this. I love doing content. I love doing the ringside commentating, but nothing beats that ring walk and the crowd going crazy and being in the middle of the action. It's no better feeling than that, man. So I'm glad to be back. I'm on a mission. I'm feeling amazing. So keep supporting. I definitely appreciate it, man. So let's talk boxing, man. There's some new big news that just came out. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Who saw that coming? I didn't. Not at all. He was originally fighting a smaller guy, Tank Davis, who I actually thought that that fight would be even in the sense of the skills that Tank possesses, right? So I figured, okay, obviously Jake's bigger, he's stronger, but Tank got those skills and he got that experience, right? That fight fell off, and everybody was throwing their shots. Berlanga threw his shot. There was talks that Andre Ward could possibly be in the mix. And, man, I threw my shot on Instagram, man. I threw my shot. I was getting at Jake. I was hitting him up, called him a few times. I ain't getting no answer, so I just threw my shot on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, and, you know, he wasn't feeling that, man, but it's cool. We had a conversation, you know, because I was in camp with him for his last fight for the Chavez fight, right? So when I threw a shot at him, I guess he felt like that was like damn, dog, I thought we was cool. But, you know, I let him know. I said, look, bro, it's just business. I said, look, it's prize fighting. You know what I mean? Right now, Jake Paul's the biggest prize, and he's fighting on Netflix, bro. The bag is crazy, right? The bag, the platform, the crowd, like, bruh, it's pretty amazing, especially how MVP promotes fights. For me, MVP is one of the best in the game when it comes to promoting fights, man. So, of course, I want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And I threw my shot. He was, like I said, he wasn't feeling it. We had a conversation between me and him, and, you know what I mean? It was cool, you know, and you know, look, man, that's just how it goes. You know, I fought a bunch of friends. You know what I'm saying? I fought my boy Jamal Davis, and shout out to my boy Jamal. We used to help each other out in camps in Philadelphia back in the day. And when it was time for us to fight, we fought, and that was that. You know what I'm saying? We kept it moving. We got cool. Latif Monday, another dude that, you know what I mean, shout out to him. You know, cool. We helped each other out a bunch of times, and when it was time to fight, we fought. Daniel Jacobs. You know what I mean? Daniel Jacobs, we did a camp in the Poconos, like in our 20s, early 20s, and then later on, we end up fighting. When I see Danny is love, bro. So it's never personal, man. That's just the way boxing works. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, guys that spar, especially on that level, I mean, chances are you will see each other later on in the future. You know what I mean? So that's all that was, man. But anyway, Joshua got the date. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man, because what shot does Jake have? He's the smaller guy. Joshua 250 plus, 6'6", big, powerful guy. Yeah, he's coming off a loss against Dubois, but Dubois is a talented, skillful fighter. You know what I mean? So, ain't no shame in losing to Dubois. But after that, before that Dubois loss, he was doing his thing. He was on a winning streak, and he was looking good, and he was bouncing back, man. So look, he lost to Dubois. Is Jake thinking that if I land that big right hand, I could clip him? Here's the thing. Does that power even translate in the heavyweight division? Yeah, you knocking guys out that are moving up in weight, or guys that really don't know how to take punches because they're coming from the UFC world. It's actually an art in taking a shot. You got to know how to take a shot. I mean, Chavez, who's been inactive for so long, was able to take Jake's shot. Why? I mean, was that 100% Chavez? Not at all. But he's able to absorb the punches because he's a boxer. You know how to roll with the shots. You know how to, when he knocked out Nate Robinson, that's a basketball player. You know what I mean? When he knocked out Tyrone Woodley, no disrespect to Tyrone Woodley, but, you know what I mean? That's a guy that's coming from the UFC world. You know what I mean? It's an art in absorbing shots, just like those guys know how to, them UFC guys, they know how to play defense on the grappling and all that stuff. Like, I'm not really, too knowledgeable on that, but it's the same as boxing, right? So, can that lucky shot land? And let me take that back, because there's no lucky punch in boxing, right? You got to work for those shots. But if it did land, can it hurt Joshua? I don't think so. I think Joshua's too big, too strong. He has a month to prepare. He was already talking about coming back in February, so I'm pretty sure he was in the gym. And now you got a whole month to really lock in, bruh. It's dangerous, man. It's dangerous because not only can Jake lose, but this could be where you'll never be the same. You know what I'm saying? It is that dangerous, man. So Jake, shout out to him for actually taking this kind of challenge. Is wild. I don't understand the concept of it. Look, man, Jake is not traditional. The dude is shaking up boxing. He's doing a lot of things that make people talk, whether you love it, whether you hate it. It don't matter. At the end of the day, people are tuning in because it's entertainment, man. It's entertainment. People want to see, can Jake actually get past 10 rounds with Joshua? If he does, that's a win. For me, if he even gets past 4 rounds, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? Because it's wild, man. But that's what's going down, man. It's going down in Miami. Joshua is not a big name in the U.S., but he's huge. He's huge in the UK, man. And, to me, Joshua is a Hall of Famer. There was debates about whether he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame or not. I believe with what he's accomplished in the sport, beating Klitschko, getting his payback against Andy Ruiz, being a 2-time world champion, an Olympian, being such a big star, the biggest star in the UK, man. He's among the names of Fury, Lennox Lewis, those heavyweights, man. So he's definitely a Hall of Famer to me. And Jake Paul is a wild, wild bull. I don't know what he's thinking, but listen, that's how he's feeling. And, he can do that, man. He can do that. He's generating the numbers. He's bringing in the crowd. For the guys that are actually fighting on that undercard, this is a great opportunity, man. Those guys better show out, give it their all. This is a big, big platform for the fighters on the undercard, man. And it's amazing, man. So, hate it or love it, I'll be watching. I'll be tuned in. And there's that, man. Okay, people. So we're coming off a great rematch in the UK. Eubank versus Benn2. It wasn't the same fight. It wasn't that war, that back and forth battle from both fighters, man. It was more Benn making the adjustments, fighting smart, jabbing, keeping his distance, not smothering himself, not being overly aggressive, picking and choosing his spots wisely. And then Eubank was just flat, man. He was flat. He looked slow, no jab. He was getting hit with jabs a lot. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't really have a good jab, no combinations. he's supposed to be the bigger guy, but it was obvious that Benn was the stronger fighter, manhandling Eubank, throwing him to the ground a couple times. The punching power was there, obviously almost knocking out Eubank in that last and final round. You know what I mean? So, Eubank just looked flat, and it could be the weight or whatever, but it could be father time. You know what I mean? Some fighters age differently. Some fighters age quicker than others. He definitely didn't have that energy or that spark in his shots, man. His shots were flat. There was no power on his shots. And pretty much Benn was able to just box himself to a victory easily. You know what I'm saying? So I think if the fight would have been similar to the first one and Benn won, then it makes sense for a trilogy. But the fact that it wasn't as competitive, not at all. If anything, I had Benn winning by a shutout. You know what I'm saying? I had Benn winning almost every round. If anything, I probably gave Eubank 1 or 2 rounds. But like I said, Benn won so easily that I don't think it makes sense for a rematch. Maybe financially it does, because it's such a big fight and it draws such a big audience in the UK, man. But, I think right now Benn has his eyes set on the guys at the welterweight division, and he put himself in position to really win a title in one of those fights, man. You got great talent in the 147-pound division. So I think that's where Benn is aiming for. As far as Eubank, I think what he needs to do is move up. You're not a 60-pounder, man. Move up to 168 and see what you could do there. You know what I'm saying? If you need a dance partner, I'm here, brother. We can make it happen. I'll go to the UK. Let's go. But that's what I think, man. I think Eubank needs to go to 168 where he could be stronger and a little more smoother and see if he can get back. You know what I'm saying? So, great fight. Respect to both guys. One thing about Eubank, a gentleman in the way he took defeat. You know what I'm saying? He made no excuses. He shook Benn's hand. He gave him props. He said, no doubt about it, you was the better man today. So, you got to respect that, a guy that took his loss like a man and gave Benn his respect, man. So shout out to that, man. All right, people. So we got a great card November 22nd. We got Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. Great fight. Great light heavyweight matchup. On that same card, we got Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. That one right there, I think that might steal the show. And then we have one of boxing's pound for pounds, Bam Rodriguez versus Fernando Hernandez. It's a great fight, man. So, look, let's start with the main event. David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, versus Anthony Yarde. Great fight. Now, David Benavidez, man, he been calling out the top names, man. And are they ducking them? I don't know. It kind of seems like it, right? None of the top guys want to fight David Benavidez, man. So what is David Benavidez doing? He's just fighting the guys right behind that level, man. And look, Anthony Yarde is a guy that he fought with Kovalev. You know what I mean? He was doing good in the fight until he got stopped late. And then Beterbiev, he was doing his thing in spots, and then, Beterbiev caught up to him, man. But Yarde is a strong light heavyweight, man. I know Anthony. I had a fight in Liverpool, so I stood in London, and I went to his gym, and I actually sparred a few rounds with him. This was a few years back. The dude is crazy strong, man. He's and I wouldn't say that it's the punching power. He has pop. I think Benavidez is the bigger puncher, but Yarde is strong physically in the inside, man. You know what I mean? So I think what will work to his advantage is boxing in spots and then getting physical in the inside, maybe smothering Benavidez where Benavidez can't let those hands go, man. Benavidez is the type of guy that he's you know what I mean? He rips shots up top. He rips shots to the body, man. He's a dangerous guy. So you either got to be all the way outside on Benavidez or all the way inside and at least try to smother him, try to take some steam off those shots, right? And Anthony needs to use his legs. Use that ring, man. Use that ring And, don't fight Benavidez' fight, which is a firefight. Benavidez wants to be right there in the mix, And the thing with Benavidez that works to his advantage is his height, his length. He has a long jab. Everything's behind that jab. And he got good defense. His guard is up. He has some good head movements, good footwork as well. And, David is just a guy that he gets stronger and stronger as the rounds go. You know what I'm saying? So you got to break his rhythm in a sense, like I was saying, smothering him at times and boxing, frustrating him, grip him up, hold on to him, clinch, wait for the ref to break because you want to break that rhythm. You don't want Benavidez letting his hands fly at will because when he does, he's very, very dangerous, man. So, that fight to me, I believe is going to, I don't know if it'll go the distance. But I definitely do have Benavidez edging it out. You know what I mean? I like Yarde. I like Anthony Yarde, man. I really do, man. And Benavidez is another guy that I've sparred with a bunch of times, man. Done many camps with Benavidez, man. And like I said, man, the difference between both fighters is Yarde, he's physically strong. You feel that strength in the inside, right? But Benavidez is just so active. Just punch after punch, man. He just don't stop. He's a tank, and he don't fade. He don't get tired. He actually gets stronger as the rounds go, man. So Yarde has to be prepared for those later rounds and make sure he doesn't fade because that's when it'll get really dangerous for him in the later rounds if he fades. You know what I mean? So stay locked in, fight a disciplined matchup. But I do have Benavidez edging it out because I think right now it's his time, man. He wants the big fights, and I think he's just motivated to look amazing, to do to look better than what Better Beef did against Anthony Yarde. You know what I mean? Because Better Beef is a guy that Benavidez would like to fight. Bivol and those guys, man. So I think this fight right here is Benavidez wants to make a statement, man, and he's a killer. He goes for the kill. He don't want to win on points, man. He wants to knock you out. So I got Benavidez edging it out, but Yarde is a skillful fighter. One thing that you do need to watch out for Yarde is the counter punches, man. He's slick and he got speed. For being a big guy, he has those quick reflex shots. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez is fast with the combinations, and those the combinations, right? But Yarde, he's quick on the slip shot. You know what I mean? The quick one shots right there, man. So I think that'll work to Yarde's favor if he utilizes it in the fight. But once again, I do have Benavidez edging it out. I think it goes the distance. It's going to be a great, great fight. Okay, people, and another great matchup, November 22nd, is Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. It's been a lot of trash talk, man, especially from the Devin Haney's camp, man. And, Norman feel like they not putting no respect on his name, man. He's not getting the props that I feel he deserves, man. I think Brian Norman Jr. is a really good fighter, man. I like the way Norman was working off the ropes, throwing nice little counter shots in between, man, and just that punching power, man. He got that pop, he got that big hook, and he stopped Santillán with those big uppercuts, man. That's a statement win right there. And then what he did in his last fight versus Jin, man, that big knockout, going to his hometown and knocking out that guy in Japan. One thing about the fighters from Japan, man, they're tough, durable guys. They can take a punch. Norman Jr. put that guy to sleep. And we all know that Devin Haney doesn't do too well with a big left hook. You know what I mean? And even though Devin bounced back and he got a win, which you got to respect him and give him his props for that, because bouncing back from that beating that he took from Ryan Garcia, I think we saw the effects of that and how much he was moving. Now, he says that's boxing. I don't call that boxing, man. I call that running. It was way too much. It was excessive. I think what Devin needs to do in the fight with Norm is, the movement is good, man, but you got to let your hands go. You got to throw combinations. You just can't move because a guy like Norman, he has a big punch, so he's going to try to hunt you down and he's the champ. So Devin, he got to take the belt from the champ. You know, you can't expect to fight that kind of fight where you're running and think you're going to get that decision, man. I think you got to take it from the champ. So I would like to see Devin sit in the pocket, let his combos go, keep that guard up, because we know that Norman packs that punch, man. He got dynamite in his gloves, and if he clips you, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Now, Devin is saying there's levels, and he was talking down on Norm. You know what I mean? I feel like that's probably a mind game, but I don't think that's working for a guy like Norm, man. He's locked in. Norman Jr. is locked in. You know, he's looking good. They say when a guy becomes a champion, he gets even better. And I believe that with Norman, man. He got a good team. He's locked in, him and his pop. So I feel that fight, I believe, is going to go the distance, because I think Devin is going to use his feet. He's going to try to stay out of range from that power, from those punches. But I think that Norman is going to win a tight, grueling matchup. I believe it will be a hard fight for both fighters, but I think Norman will edge it out, and just, you know, the bigger punches that are going to get land are going to be by Norman. You know, I don't think that Devin Haney possesses that kind of power to keep Norman Jr. honest. You know what I mean? I think that's why Norman Jr. is just going to keep coming forward and forward, because Devin really don't got that kind of pop to keep a guy honest. So it's a great matchup. Like I said, I have Norman Jr. edging out a tight, grueling matchup. Let's lock in November 22nd. And then we have on the November 22nd card, Bam Rodriguez, one of boxing's pound-for-pound greats. Top 10 right now, no doubt about it. The man is phenomenal. The way he fights, man, he reminds me of Lomachenko, man, just the way he works those angles, the combinations, switching speeds. The footwork is just amazing. He's facing Fernando Martinez, who's 18-0. He's undefeated. But I believe Bam is just on a whole nother level. Him and Robert Garcia are doing a phenomenal job together, man. And I think that, you know, Bam is just, he's exciting to watch, man. And you can't, you know, the guys in a smaller weight class, they don't get that much TV time, and they don't get enough props, man. But the thing is, that's what makes Bam so special. No one cares, right? No one cares, because he fights so explosive. And it's not just the skill set. He goes for the kill. He's a killer, man. He wants to knock you out. He wants to win by knockout. And that's what you got to respect about Bam Rodriguez, man. He's an entertaining fighter. He's locked in. He's focused. He's disciplined. And I just don't see Fernando Martinez giving him any type of competition. The fight that I would like to see is Bam get through this guy, get that knockout victory, which I believe he will get. And then the fight with him and Inoue, that right there is just action-packed. You got two of the most elite fighters in boxing right now going head-to-head. That fight right there will be amazing, man. Amazing. And to be honest with you, I really don't know who has the edge, because they're both high IQ fighters. They're both explosive. They both pack a punch. And they're going to be there to be hit, because they're going to fight in the inside, man. So it's an amazing fight to watch. I think that fight will happen next year, and when it does, I want to be in the building, man. I definitely want to watch that fight. To me, that's probably the biggest fight in boxing when it comes to the smaller weight class, man. So let's get it. Bam Rodriguez, November 22nd. Let's work.